Hello students, welcome back. Students, today we are starting unit 6 of class 10 syllabus and the name of the unit is electrolysis. So students, what is electrolysis? First, I'll introduce about electrolysis. Students, the word electrolysis is made up of, or the term electrolysis is made up of two words, electro and the second word is lytic. Electro means electricity. So electro is for electricity, and students, lytic means is to break or to cleave, or we say to separate. To separate. So students, electrolysis is breaking up of a chemical compound or chemical substance by passing electricity through its molten state or aqueous solution. For example, students, see, I have sodium chloride and it is molten sodium chloride, and when we pass electricity through molten sodium chloride, this substance breaks into sodium and chlorine. This will be deposited at electrode, which is called cathode, and chlorine will be released or evolved at electrode, which is called anode. So students, this is electrolysis, that is what? Breaking up or decomposition of a chemical substance by passing electricity through molten state or aqueous solution of a compound. So students, in electrolysis we establish a relationship between electrical energy and chemical energy. So in electrolysis we establish a relationship between electrical energy and what? Chemical energy. And chemical energy. So electrolysis is all about establishing a relationship between electrical energy and chemical energy. For example, see again, I have this chemical reaction which occurs only when what? Electrical energy is passed through the substance. That means in electrolysis we bring about a non-spontaneous chemical reaction by passing electricity. So we establish a relationship between electrical energy and chemical energy. Now students, the most important aspect of electrolysis is the conductivity of compounds or substances. Means some compounds, they conduct electricity, others they do not conduct electricity. So students, depending upon the ability to carry current or depending upon ability of a substance to allow current to pass through it, the substances are of three types. So first type of substances are called conductors. Now students, what are conductors? Conductors are those chemical substances which allow electric current to pass through their solid state, their molten state or aqueous solutions, and during electrical conduction, conductors may undergo a chemical change or they may not undergo a chemical change. So depending upon this aspect, that is they undergo chemical decomposition or not, conductors, students, are of two types. The first type of conductors are called metallic conductors. Now students, what are metallic conductors? Metallic conductors are those substances which allow electric current to pass through them in solid state or liquid state. For example, students, we have metals like aluminium, copper, then we have iron, then we have mercury, then we have zinc, etc. Now all these elements or all these substances carry electric or allow electric current to pass through their solid state or liquid state. Among these, aluminium, copper, iron, zinc, all are metals at room temperature and they allow electric current to pass through them. But mercury is a liquid at room temperature, but mercury also conducts electricity. So we say all these are what? Metallic conductors. Now students, in metallic conductors, conduction is due to movement of electrons. So conduction is due to movement of free electrons, because we know that all metals, they have one or more free electrons. So due to the movements of these electrons, they conduct electricity. And students, since metallic conduction is due to electrons and electrons have negligible mass, we say that during metallic conduction there is no transfer of matter. There is no transfer of matter. Means आप से जब एक इलेक्ट्रिकल स्विच ऑन करते हैं, द करंट फ्लोज थ्रू मेटालिक वायर्स, बट उससे ऐसा नहीं होता दैट एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट तक कोई मैटर का ट्रांसफर हो रहा है. अगर कोई ट्रांसफर हो रहा है तो इट इज ओनली ड्यू टू इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, बट इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैव नेग्लिजिबल मास, सो वी से देयर इज नो ट्रांसफर ऑफ मैटर. नाउ सेकंड इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग अबाउट मेटालिक कंडक्टर्स इज दैट ड्यूरिंग कंडक्शन there is no chemical change. For example, students, when say high voltage transmission occurs through say aluminium wires, they do not undergo any chemical change, because अगर suppose अगर मेटिक aluminium या copper या जो भी wires आप use कर रहे हैं उनमें अगर कोई chemical change होता, then आपको daily उन wires को replace करना पड़ता, even transmission cables को भी फिर तो daily replace करना पड़ता. But students, metals do not undergo chemical what? Change. So that means no chemical decomposition takes place. So there will be no chemical change during conduction of electricity by metals. So thus we say that metallic conduction is just a physical change. Metallic conduction is a physical change. So there is no chemical change, but it is a physical change. So these are some important points. Now students, one important thing about metallic conductors is that when temperature is increased, now students, when temperature increases, we expect electrons to move what? With greater kinetic energy. So we expect metallic conduction to increase. But students, ऐसा होता नहीं है. In metallic conductors, when temperature is increased at higher temperature, students, metals में आपको मैं बता दूं, there are some free electrons, but then there is a kernel also. These positively charged particles in metallic lattice, they are called kernels. So at higher temperature, these kernels, they start vibrating about their mean position, and thus they interfere with the electronic movements, and due to which the conduction of metals decreases. So metallic conduction decreases with temperature. So it decreases with increase of temperature. So these are some key points about metallic conductors. Now students, the second type of conductors are called electrolytic conductors. So let's discuss electrolytes or electrolytic conductors. Now students, what are electrolytic conductors? Electrolytic conductors. Now students, electrolytic conductors are those chemical compounds, these are generally ionic or polar covalent compounds, which allow electric current to pass through them in their what? Molten state or aqueous solution. For example, students, NaCl in molten state as well as NaCl in aqueous medium conducts electricity. So we say NaCl is an electrolytic conductor. Similarly, student, HCl, when dissolved in water, actually undergoes what? Ionization. And due to the presence of ions in the solution conducts electricity. So all such substances which conduct electricity in their aqueous solutions or molten state due to the presence of ions, because NaCl and say in molten state as well as aqueous solution dissociates into free sodium and chloride ions, and because of presence of these ions, sodium chloride conducts electricity. So all such substances which allow electric current to pass through them in molten state, aqueous solution are called electrolytic conductors. And conduction of these substances is due to what? So conduction of electrolytic conductors is due to what? It is due to presence of or movement of what? Free ions. So metals mein conduction was due to electrons, but in electrolytic conductors it is due to the presence of free or mobile ions. And students, next important point about electrolytic conductors is that transfer of matter occurs during electrolytic conduction. Now this you have to understand, what do you mean by this, that transfer of matter occurs. Now students, see, when say NaCl molten conducts electricity, means say electricity is passed through molten NaCl, what happens is that at cathode of the electrolytic cell, sodium is deposited. So there is a transfer of matter at one of the electrode, whereas at the other electrode, which is called anode, chlorine is released. So we say that NaCl mein there is a chemical decomposition and one substance is deposited or liberated at one electrode, that is a cathode, and then there is liberation or deposition of other substance at the anode. So there is a transfer of matter. एक electrode पे कुछ deposit होगा, दूसरी rod पे भी कुछ deposit होगा. So we say there is a transfer of matter during electrolytic conduction. And students, interestingly, see, in metallic conduction there was no chemical change, but here we see that sodium chloride changes to sodium and chlorine. So here we say chemical decomposition occurs. Chemical decomposition takes place. It occurs. Now lastly, students, unlike metals, the conduction of electrolytes increases with increase of temperature. Why, students? Because when temperature is increased, the ions they move randomly. That means their kinetic energy increases. So we say that electrolytic conduction increases with increase of temperature. So this is very, very important point, that electrolytic conduction increases with increase of temperature. So it increases with increase of temperature. So this was about conductors. Now students, the second type of substances on the basis of their ability to carry current are called insulators. They are called insulators. Now what are insulators? Now students, insulators are those substances which do not allow electric current to pass through their solid state, their molten state or aqueous solutions. So these are substances which do not carry electric current. For example, wood is an insulator, rubber is an insulator, even elements like sulfur, solid sulfur, they are insulator. Many polymers, they are insulating or insulators. So these are substances which do not allow electric current to pass through them. Now students, we'll discuss third type of substances which are called semiconductors. Now students, what are semiconductors? Now, semiconductors are those compounds or those substances which have electrical conductivity intermediate between those of conductors and insulators, which means जो semiconductors हैं, they have electrical conductivity, they have electrical conductivity greater than what? Insulators, but less than conductors. So their electrical conductivity, we say, is intermediate. That is, it is between those of insulators and conductors. The most commonly used semiconductors are silicon, germanium, etc. So students, this was about the types of substances on the basis of their ability to carry current or to allow electric current to pass through them. Now students, we'll discuss some basic terms in electrochemistry, and the first important term in electrochemistry is electrolysis, जो कि हमारा यूनिट का नाम भी है, electrolysis. So students, what is electrolysis? Electrolysis is a process of decomposition of a chemical substance when electricity is passed through molten state or its aqueous solution. For example, students, NaCl molten है, when electricity is passed through molten NaCl, the decomposition of sodium chloride takes place and we get sodium and chlorine. So this process of decomposition of a chemical substance by passing electricity through molten or aqueous solution is called electrolysis, and in electrolysis we establish relationship between electrical energy and the chemical energy. That means we bring about a chemical reaction by passing electricity. Now students, the next term is electrolytes. Electrolytes. Now students, electrolytes are ionic compounds. These are ionic compounds, or these are polar covalent compounds, which dissociate on heating or which dissociate or ionize when dissolved in water, and therefore these conduct electricity. So all those substances which allow electric current to pass through them in their molten state or aqueous solutions, they are called electrolytes. Now students, depending upon degree of dissociation, means the extent to which they dissociate, electrolytes are of two types: strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. So now students, we are going to discuss classification of electrolytes on the basis of degree of dissociation. Now students, first you have to understand what is degree of dissociation. We denote degree of dissociation by alpha, Greek letter alpha. And what is this degree of dissociation? Student, it is ratio of number of molecules, or we say moles, of substance dissociated or ionized upon total number of molecules. And when we multiply this by 100, we call it percentage degree of dissociation. Now students, depending upon degree of dissociation, that means extent to which electrolytes dissociate, we have two types of electrolytes. First, we are going to discuss strong electrolytes. Now, what are strong electrolytes? Students, strong electrolytes are those which undergo almost complete dissociation or complete ionization. So these undergo almost complete ionization or dissociation. So these are substances which undergo almost complete ionization or dissociation, which means the degree of dissociation, that is alpha, the degree of dissociation, say alpha, is approximately what? 100%. But students, let me give you a criteria. We generally say that when degree of dissociation alpha is more than 30%, all such substances can be regarded as what? They can be regarded as strong electrolytes. Now students, when we say their degree of dissociation is quite large, that means they undergo almost complete ionization, the resulting solution of a strong electrolyte contains what? Mainly ions. So solution will have a large concentration of ions. So that means जो ions का concentration है, this square is for concentration, the concentration of ions will be quite high. And students, due to this, these substances have very high electrical conductivity. These have very high electrical conductivity. And students, that is why when electrolysis of such substances is carried out, and say an electric bulb is attached in between, means circuit में अगर आप electric bulb लगा दोगे, what happens is that that electric bulb will glow brilliantly or brightly. So strong electrolytes, they have high electrical conductivity, so the electric bulb glows brightly. So students, this was about strong electrolytes. Examples, we have strong acids like HCl, H2SO4, nitric acid. Then we have strong bases like NaOH, potassium hydroxide. Then we have salts like copper sulfate. We have lead bromide, molten lead bromide, silver nitrate, etc. All these are strong electrolytes. Now students, second type of electrolytes are called weak electrolytes. Now, weak means their degree of dissociation is quite less. So what are weak electrolytes, students? Weak electrolytes are those compounds which undergo dissociation, or ionization, to a very small extent, That means the degree of dissociation will be what? Very, very, very less than 100%. Say, maybe alpha is 4%, 5%, etc. So, when we say the degree of dissociation is less, that means the solution contains ions as well as molecules, because सभी molecules dissociate नहीं करेंगे. So solution contains ions as well as unionized or undissociated what? Molecules. So the concentration of ions in the solution, will be what? Low, less, and therefore these substances have low electrical conductivity. So these have low electrical conductivity. And students, that is why when electrolysis of such substances is carried out, the electric bulb glows but dimly. बहुत कम intensity का light वो emit करेगा. So common examples of weak electrolytes, we have weak acids like acetic acid, then we have carbonic acid, we have formic acid, then weak bases like ammonium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, and then we have weak electrolytes like ammonium carbonate, these are salts, and lead acetate. So these are all weak electrolytes. These are all weak acids, these all are weak bases, and these are salts but weak electrolytes. So students, this was about electrolytes. Now next topic is acids, bases and salts as electrolytes. Acids, bases and salts as electrolytes. So we have next topic, acids, bases and salts as what? Electrolytes. Now students, let me tell you, acids and alkalis, acids and alkalis, they undergo ionization. They undergo ionization means they produce ions in the solution, in aqueous solution, and therefore they serve as what? Electrolytes. Similarly students, bases and salts, bases and salts, they undergo dissociation. They undergo dissociation when dissolved in water. When dissolved in water. So therefore they can also serve as electrolytes. So acids, alkalis and some bases, salts, they either undergo ionization or they undergo dissociation when dissolved in water. So they all may serve as electrolyte because their aqueous solution contains ions, and due to the movement of ions, all these substances conduct electricity. So they serve as electrolytes. And students, now let's discuss acids, bases and salts as electrolytes. Now they may be what? Strong or weak. दोनों हो सकते हैं. So strong and weak. Among acids, strong we have HCl, H2SO4, nitric acid. So all these are strong what? Electrolytes. Weak may we have acetic acid, formic acid, etc. Similarly students, bases, sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, etc. act as strong electrolytes, whereas bases, ammonium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, they act as weak electrolytes. Among salts, copper sulfate, silver nitrate, lead bromide, etc. are what? Strong electrolytes, whereas ammonium carbonate, lead acetate, etc. are what? They are weak electrolytes. So students, this was about electrolytes, their classification, and acids, bases and salts, they act as electrolytes. So students, this is all for today. Thank you.